10,000 fearless on the move.
Let's go!
Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the massive
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. In Mississippi. Mississippi. 10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes. It's about 10K fearless of us on the move. Assalamu alaikum and peace be unto you, and welcome to another edition of the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. I am your brother and host, Abdul Shaheed Muhammad, and please allow me to begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness to the oneness of Almighty God, the oneness of His prophets, and the oneness of the scriptures that were revealed through them to the whole of humanity. We thank Almighty God, Allah, which is the name by which we call Him, and that is certainly not to the dismissal of any other of the righteous names by which people of other faith refer to the divine being. We thank Him for Moses and the Torah. We know it as the Old Testament. We thank Him for Jesus and the Gospel or the New Testament, and we certainly thank Him for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Peace be upon all of the servants of Almighty God. Please allow us to greet you once again with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. And welcome to yet another edition. I got callers calling in already. I'm going to let you all in. Just stand by and we'll get to you in just a moment. We got a few things to do before we get started. So my friend that's on, just stand by and hold on. We'll get to you in just a moment. We got a few housekeeping things, some announcements, and some people that support us that we want to get in. And then we're going to do our farm report. And then we're going to do a prologue to the show, of course, and then we will get those who may want to comment on today's program. It is my pleasure and always an honor, and I count it a blessing, and this is a serious undertaking to be on the airwaves or this podcast, and I see and treat the ears of our people and human beings as sacred, because there's so much misinformation out today, and there's so much chatter, if you will, noise that people who want to distract and detract away from the truth. So it is our goal and objective here at the 10K Fearless Podcast to give you the truth as best as we can mine it out and present it. And if we can't present it in the best manner and that it is clear-cut truth, then we won't say anything at all. So let us begin tonight's episode, dear brothers and sisters, as some of you may have seen on social media and the different avenues by which we make our community aware that we will be broadcasting tonight. This one is entitled Mississippi, Still Burning. And she is definitely still burning, brothers and sisters, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But let me go ahead and lay the groundwork and present to you our axioms, which are our principles that help guide and undergird the conversations that we have and the discussions that we have on this platform. An axiom is simply a statement or proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true to serve as a premise or starting point for further reasoning and arguments. Okay? That's all an axiom is. And two of my favorite ones that I love to present to you for you to consider are from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. His first one, he says, quote, "He who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your activity." And we know there's always been somebody that wants to shape the thinking of black folk. And if we ain't thinking the way they want us to think, then all of a sudden something's wrong with us. As a matter of fact, they used to say that we were crazy for seeking to run away from plantations. Did you know that? Go study your history. Even running away from a plantation and from a wicked master, they considered that a mental illness. In fact, they had a name for it. Do you know what it was? They called it drapetomania. It's something wrong with you if you want to run away from a wicked slave master. Isn't that something? They intellectualize tyranny and make it sound clinical, and then make the person that's being oppressed the one that's doing wrong. Isn't that interesting? Second one from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when he gives us this definition of a slave, wherein he says, quote, "A slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master." Yep. That one is very, very true. And I'd like to give you another one from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he said to us, and this is very instructive, brothers and sisters, so listen to this one. He said, quote, "When you see men fall, don't laugh, learn. Learn because you're on your way up, and the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you're laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make a mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself." End quote. And I give you one more, and we're going to give you this one from the great Carter G. Woodson in his great book, The Miseducation of the Negro, when he wrote, quote, "When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You do not have to tell him to go here or yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there's not a back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary." End quote. So, brothers and sisters, those are the axioms that we want to use for tonight's program to lay the groundwork for tonight's discussion. And we're going to take a quick break and get to our commercial announcements. And we'll be right back after these commercial messages. difference. Taste supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme Spring Water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Shake's Famous Seasonings. Flavors for every occasion. Want to add a touch of authentic flavor to any dish? Searching for a unique range of seasonings that always put great taste on the menu? Welcome to Shake's Famous Seasonings. Whether you're a professional chef, passionate home cook, or a complete beginner in the kitchen, taste and flavor should always be on the menu. It's why Master Chef Rashid Muhammad has combined more than 30 years in the kitchen with a passion for mouth-watering flavors to create a range of seasonings unlike any other. Always gluten-free, so you can enjoy great taste exactly how nature intended. Versatile flavors that work with fresh fish, chicken, or vegetables from the very first bite. Authentic cooking experience that adds something special to any occasion. Versatile seasonings that are perfect for baking, frying, grilling, and plenty of tasting. Ready for real, authentic flavor? When it's time to see just how delicious seasoned foods can be, why wait? With the click of a button, you can have 30 years of passion for food sent direct to your door. Just what you need to add flavors to every occasion and create meals that you'll always want to eat twice.
Place your order at sfseasonings.com. That's sfseasonings.com.
10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes, we are back here at the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. Once again, I am your brother and host, Abdul Shahid Muhammad. And we have on the line, which is the next segment of our program, Brother William Muhammad with our farm report. Let's try this again, Brother William, coming through the console. Are you there, sir? Oh, boy. Let me do it this way, Brother William. I'll get you on, brother. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother. You there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear now, my brother. What's on tap for the farm report tonight, sir?
Yes, sir. Right now, we just waiting on the staple goods information to come in to see when we'll be picking up our staple goods for staple 25 ordering. Also, just still tending to the things for the Kingdom Farms. Like I say, June the 15th is the date that we're looking to start our first harvest.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still trying to, get this thing organized with the farming project to begin in Holly Springs. I was waiting on him to get back from word from the brother who has the tractor. I don't know if he actually got the part in or not that he need, but that's 2 tractors now. Well, 2 brothers with tractors that I've been trying to get with. Just waiting on them to give me the word when they can, be able to bring them up.
Great, great, great. So what's going on with Brother Musa down in Ackerman, him and Brother Gerald? You heard from them recently?
Yes, sir. I went out there yesterday. I got there late. They did some honing and some tightening up on some things. I'm scheduled to go back in the morning, inshallah. And most of the things that we need now is just for some more pleasant days to come in. And June the 15th is when we're looking to start harvesting.
Great, great, great. Praise be to Allah. And of course, on Muhammad's farm, I know you are on a call about weekly with Dr. Ridgely, the Nation of Islam's. He is over our farm program, the Ministry of Agriculture. Anything new that we need to know coming from that ministry?
Well, I put something on the thread yesterday that I shared. The watermelons are coming along, the cantaloupes are coming along, and he's been out in the field harvesting wheat.
Great, great. Praise be to Allah. As always, Brother William, we always thank you, brother, for coming and keeping us informed. It's very important. Want to send a shout out to our brother Jones, him and his wife Dolores of Chulahoma's Garden, which is right there in Marshall County, just outside of Holly Springs. So we need to pay them a visit. You heard from them lately, brother, in the past few days?
I haven't talked to him this week, but I'm scheduled to call him to see when is he going, because he's going to need some help with harvesting as well.
Right.
So I was just just waiting on that. Hopefully I'll be able to get some information from him before the week is out to see when he's going to be ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hopefully, brother, we can get some young brothers and sisters in Marshall County to be introduced to it because he is offering a sweat equity program where those who are willing to come and put in a little work to help harvest, they can take some of the produce and some of the product that's harvested, grown and harvested home with them in exchange for putting in maybe an hour or 2 of helping to harvest. He's got about, how many acres he has under cultivation, brother? About 26 of them, or is it less than that? I can't remember.
You know what? Honestly, I can't remember exactly how many acres that he has, but I do know that he's also, he mentioned to me that he's willing to pay people also to come help.
Yes.
And harvest them again. Yes,
see,
sir.
Those are summer jobs, and those are the kind of things that we are working on. The Muhammad Study Group 78A in Holly Springs of the Nation of Islam. Our children need summer jobs, man, and if we can connect them to brothers like Tony Jones and his wife Dolores Jones in Marshall County and Mississippi, in that area is a farm community, and there are people that's growing food. Okay, so we have a brother that has the kind of resources where he can pay a wage, and our children that are out of school, instead of them walking through the park shooting at one another, which happened in Holly Springs just a few days ago, unfortunately, perhaps they can learn something about not just agriculture, but agribusiness. Because the one thing that people do all day, every day, that is eat. So,
Yes, sir.
so we need that. So, Brother William, man, we thank you for the report. Thank you for giving us a call and keeping us updated. Until next time, brother, I greet you. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. That was our Brother William Muhammad, as always, coming in with the farm report and keeping us abreast of what's happening on the land where we have planted seeds and trying to feed ourselves. Because, brothers and sisters, I hope you all are paying attention. The time is getting to where food prices are going to be out of reach for a lot of people. So we better think about putting some food right under our feet. So let's keep it moving with tonight's program. I want to start by reading something from 1964, which happens to be the year that I was born. Ain't that something? And let me find it if I can. I thought I had it pulled up, which I did, but I got to get to it. I got a lot of stuff pulled up here. But this is a very, very interesting article. Man, I lost it. Come on, Brother Shaheed. What did you do with it? You just had it up, brother. Okay, let's just go back to where it was and relaunch it. Maybe it closed out on me and I didn't realize that it had closed. There it is right there. So let's open you again. How about that? There you go. This article is entitled Mississippi Burning. For those that are not old enough, it was in June of 1964. Just to show you how recent that was in my lifetime. In June of 1964, I was 4 months old. So yeah, I was a lap baby. And this is what was happening in the summer of that year. The KKK was in a murderous mood, the article states. And it had something to do with the Klan in Mississippi. And they were looking for a 24-year-old New Yorker by the name of Michael Schwerner. And Michael Schwerner was scheduled to meet two other gentlemen, one by the name of James Chaney and one Andrew Goodman. And James Chaney was the only black man amongst the three. The other two were two male whites and had to do with getting black people registered to vote. According to the article, and of course, according to history, around 5 p.m. on Sunday, June 21st, those three men drove to Philadelphia, Mississippi. And the three civil rights workers, they were arrested by Neshoba County Deputy Sheriff, a man by the name of Cecil Price, and it was allegedly for speeding. So at around 10:30 p.m. in I can't pronounce Circa, around 10:30 June 21st, same day, Chaney, Goodman, and Schwerner were released and drove to the direction or in the direction of Meridian, Mississippi. They was in a blue station wagon, according to the reports. And by preordained plan, the KKK followed them. And the story goes as it goes, they were never heard from again. And the following day, that morning, their disappearance was made public. The Department of Justice, because they had been watching, it was requested that they get involved. A few hours later, they were involved. The Attorney General at the time, Robert Kennedy, asked them to lead the case. And by the late morning, they had blanketed the area with agents who began to interview and what they call canvass the area, looking for these men. And about late afternoon, and they had developed some intelligence, led them to the remains of a burned out station wagon. And there are pictures of all of this. No bodies were in the station wagon, though. So, of course, they feared the worst. And the charged station wagon is what gave rise to the name of this article. And they called it Mid-Burn. And that was short for Mississippi Burning. And that was actually a movie done about this some years ago. But fast forward to between June 24th and August 3rd, they launched a massive search for the young men. The National Guard was actually down there, checking back roads and swamps and hollows. And at the same time, they were putting pressure on known members of the Klan and developing informants, to some degree infiltrating and trying to find out where these young men were. Suffice it to say, around August 20th of 67, August the 4th, acting on an informant attempt, they exhumed all three bodies, 14 feet. 14 feet, buried 14, not 6, but 14 feet below an earthen dam on a local farm. Now, that's a relic of the past, if you will. That's something from back in 1964. And the reason I'm saying tonight, brothers and sisters and listeners, that Mississippi is still burning It's because this kind of thing is still going on. Black men in particular, black women being stopped by police, being intimidated, harassed, put in fear of their lives, assaulted, come up missing, and come up murdered. That's in today's Mississippi. This is not 1964, and Mississippi is not the only state. It is just one of those states where it happens on the regular, but you really don't just hear about it because these kinds of stories rarely make national news. And if you were to expose yourself to many of the residents that live North Mississippi, Middle Mississippi, all the way down to the Gulf in Biloxi and Hattiesburg and places like that, they'll tell you what's going on in some of these smaller municipalities where police forces, district attorneys, local judges, city councils, school boards control the black community with fear and intimidation. It's happening in Senatobia, Mississippi, as we speak. And somebody has to begin to illuminate this and put some light on this and begin to galvanize, because how long are we going to continue to live like this? This is 2024. So tonight we want to discuss the fact that Mississippi is still burning. And incidents like the 1964 case of Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodman are still happening in Mississippi in 2024. And there's a network of wicked, satanic-minded people in Mississippi who, out of pure, savage, diabolical, unprovoked hatred, are still willing to simply murder, particularly black people, and help hide the crime. And some of these people are mayors, some of them are judges, sheriffs, police chiefs, city council persons, police officers and deputies, and coroners, and even state officials. Yes, these are facts, brothers and sisters. You don't have to believe it. Go do the research for yourself. So essentially, the Black Holocaust is still going on in 2024. I know some of us are living a good life or living our best life. That's cool. But there is a significant number of our people in the Delta in particular, really all over the country, are still living in the valley of the shadow of death. While some of us are partying, ain't nothing wrong if you want to party, that's cool. But brothers and sisters, as I said to one of my brothers, Brother Lumumba of the Geronimo Pratt Gun Club and the Black Liberation Movement and Mississippi on the Move family, if we don't begin to develop a level of operational unity, 2024 is going to be worse than 2023 and 2022. So the Black Holocaust, according to all appearances, it's still happening. And according to, local, state, and federal government has not been able to do much about it. And black people have been crying out for quite some time. And it appears that we as black people, we're on our own, y'all. They call in the FBI sometimes, and they call in this agency, and nothing ever comes of it. There's no resolution. Unless you got it all on camera and hard evidence, for the most part, no one takes responsibility. So what I'm saying to us tonight, dear family, it's up to us to take up the responsibility of looking out for our own lives and well-being. Many of you may have heard about what happened to Brother Keith Cole in Luxahoma, Mississippi. Did you hear about Keith Cole? He gets stopped on Highway 4. He jumps out and running. Now, some of you will say in your mind, well, what'd he run for? No, is running from the police a death sentence? That's the question. You mean if I run, the penalty is I die? Last I checked, evading arrest was a misdemeanor offense. It's not even a felony. Running on foot. So he gets stopped. He jumps out, run into the woods. And according to the family, they were able to look and view the body camera footage. And according to what the family has said, when they looked at the footage, they saw their loved one, when he ran into the woods and the officer came up on him, he was laying on the ground. Let me quote him. One family member by the name of Ryan Connolly said, "When it's murder, it's murder. I don't care if it is the law or not. My uncle was already laying down. You should have put handcuffs on him and took him to the truck. He would still be living, but you took his life," end quote. Another gentleman, this is Pastor Keith Cole. I'm thinking this is senior. Not sure, it doesn't specify in the article. After he watched the video, the police video footage, body cam, he said, quote, "It's a big mystery to me because the only thing we see is when they get to the woods and he is already laying down and stretched out. Why not just put cuffs on him and pick him up and search him if you are really worried about your life?" End quote. But the brother is dead. And many of you probably never even heard that story of Keith Cole. That's right here down the street in Tate County, Mississippi. Or maybe you've heard of what happened to Rasheem Carter in Taylorsville, Mississippi. Young brother down there working the job goes to the police and tell them 2 truckloads of white men are out to kill him. They take no action. They send him away. That young man walks out of that police station, never to be seen alive again, only to have months later, they find his remains. They find his head severed from his body. And this is 2021 when this actually happened. Let me go to the article real quick. Mississippi is still burning, dear family. And the question becomes, are we going to continue to sit idle and not talk about the 10,000-pound gorilla that's been in the room for 470 years? 470 comes from the number of years we as black folk been over here. You mean to tell me this kind of stuff can still go on among us and no one says anything? I mean, it's almost accepted as normal. Is that what we're saying to the world? So this young man, 25 years old, he's just gone. No one has been held accountable. No one takes responsibility. So those are the first 2 I wanted. There's a lot more. Maybe you've heard of what happened in Rankin County with the Goon Squad. First time in history that somebody's been held accountable in Mississippi. Maybe you heard about what happened to Brother Mark LeSure in Senatobia recently. Did you hear about what happened to Sister Shanice Miller's 13 and 14-year-old girls? Maybe you heard about what happened to James Irby in 2013 in Walls, Mississippi, when he was stopped by a Walls officer on body camera. They put it on the news. You see Mr. Irby on the phone, and the officer tells him to get off the phone, and because the brother wouldn't get off the phone, he pulls out a taser and tases him. The brother takes off running into a field, never to be seen or heard from again until this very day. Hadn't been seen or heard from. Last person to see him was the officer that stopped him, and the officer that stopped him is the same officer that stopped the 10-year-old boy who was relieving himself in public in Senatobia, Mississippi. But I got a call on the line. I almost forgot. Let me get you in, dear caller. I want to hear from those who tune into the podcast. Caller, are you there? Oh, I got them unmuted. Maybe they stepped away. Okay. Oh, I'll see they're coming back. I guess they logged off and wanted to come back. Okay, I see you now. Go ahead, caller. Are you there? Go ahead, caller.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Oh, yes. Greetings. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, ma'am.
Yes, sir. My name is Sister Sabora.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I'm currently in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, mm, I guess and I did listen to last week's podcast. Um, what sticks out into the top of my mind is that not only are we affected by fear and stifled by fear,
Yes.
but what I've seen that actually keeps it in a revolving state is the state of apathy, thinking that things, no matter what we do, it will always be the same.
Sister, you are so
So
right.
it does not, it looks like, no one cares.
Hmm.
The way things keep happening, like you said, in 2024, the things that are happening to us as if we were in 1934
Yes, ma'am.
are still occurring because we as a people are not taking the stand to see something different between one another, getting each other's back, so to speak, like a brother's keeper should be. And the enemy, in my opinion, and what I have seen time after time, they just do whatever they want to do because they know we don't get each other's back. We do a lot of talking,
Yes,
but we don't do a lot of walking.
that's right. Dear sister, I'm sorry, your name again, once again?
Sister Sabora
Sister
Muhammad.
Sabora. I almost said Sabira. I knew it was Sister Sabora. Thank you, sister. Look, you are so correct. There's a level of apathy, and we've been desensitized to the plight of one another. See, back in the '60s, we can talk about the civil rights movement and have a jaundiced eye in terms of their tactics and how they did things. But the reality is, when somebody in Mississippi hurt, black folk hurt all over the U.S.
Right.
And we had a spiritual nervous system, so to speak, that when we got pinched on the Gulf, down in the Delta, the people on the East Coast felt the pinch. They felt the pain. But nowadays, sister, the apathy you just spoke of and the desensitization of our own plight has set in so deeply that, I mean, we act as though these occurrences are normal, and they're not. And unfortunately, many of us don't see the need to get involved, dear sister, until the tragedy visits us personally. And then we want everyone to rally to the cause, when the truth of the matter is we need to get involved and put eyes on these small towns throughout the state of Mississippi. Mississippi is the blackest state in the country. I think we're 39% black in Mississippi. Got more black-run towns than in anywhere in the country. So, dear sister, you are absolutely right. I want to thank you for calling in. Anything else you wanted to share with us before you go?
Well, just to ask you and any of your listeners what they believe and what you believe can be a solution to the plague of apathy and fear.
Yes, ma'am. I certainly will answer that question. Sister, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
And give her a round of applause, Sister Sabora.
Thank you.
Now, those of you who have tuned in and listening, she asked, what solutions? And she says she's right. There's a lot of talk about it. But the question is, what are we going to do about it? And as I see it, Sister Sabora, this podcast is one of the ways to begin to bring attention to it. Because something as ugly as what happens to us on the regular, particularly in the Delta, in the Mississippis, the Alabama, the Georgias, the Louisianas, down in Florida, many of these stories never make the national news. So we have to begin to bring attention to it in this platform called the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. 10K Fearless comes from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I'm going to play some words from him momentarily I want you to listen to. When he asked for 10,000 fearless men to go into the black community and get between the gangs and the guns and bring it in. Well, why is that important? Well, I'll share that with you, God willing, if I don't forget in a moment. why it's important that we stop violence amongst ourselves. But if we don't take the initiative to begin to organize amongst ourselves, they're not going to do it. But I want you to hear the minister's words, what he said leading up to 10-10-15. Listen to this, and I'll be right back. Just take a listen.
Justice. I'm not going to Washington demanding justice from Washington.
That's right. That's right.
Nobody can give you justice if in the nature they don't have the nature of God. I'm not dealing with somebody that's in the nature of God. I'm dealing with somebody that is contrary to the nature of God, and every day their actions prove it. So wait, why should I go to Washington to demand of them what they can't give, don't want to give, don't have the will to give? I'm going to make a case. Listen to this. You out there saying to the world how terrible it is for Cuba with their human rights abuses. You go to China and you talk about their human rights abuses. You go to Russia, you talk about their human rights abuses. So I want to bring your abuses before your face and before the world. I've asked, wait, listen, I'm asking all the mothers that have been killed by judicial impropriety by the police, come to Washington, bring the picture of your child. But what about you black people killing each other? Worse than the police killing us. Huh? See, I would be a hypocrite if I went and said to white people, you wrong for killing us. They've been killing us ever since we met them. So killing us is nothing new for them. But our killing of one another is new. And that has to be addressed. So I said, I'm looking for 10,000 fearless men out of the million. That death is sweeter than living under tyranny. So the media said, Farrakhan said, he's looking for 10,000 fearless men to rise up and kill all white people. My God. I mean, I'm passionate, but I'm not stupid. Killing all white people with 10,000. Yeah, right. And I never said what the 10,000 were going to do.
Go ahead. That's right.
But I'll tell you. See, we need 10,000 fearless men to go inside the black community and stand in between the guns of the gangs and then settle this with conflict resolution and bring peace in our own community. That's not killing white people.
Now, that was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And what I want us to pull from that is when he said that he's not going to Washington to make a demand on Washington. He's not doing that. And how can he appeal to them in words, and I'm not quoting him, of course, when it's not even in their nature to give us justice? So that's why I said earlier, family, we're on our own. We are appealing and protesting to people that are not going to hear us. It's not even in them to hear us. And let me give you an example of why the Honorable Minister Louis, where I agree with what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has said, and it is exactly right. It's not even in their nature to do right by us. So protesting them and standing in front of their institutions with signs, and I get it, brothers and sisters, I feel you. I'm not casting shade at that. But what I'm saying to us is we need to understand that while we protesting, they don't care nothing about our protest. That doesn't move them at all. And here is why. Now, they arrested a 10-year-old boy in Senatobia, Mississippi, some months ago. The boy was with his mother. His mother was taking care of some business in a business. They was in a parking lot. There was no bathroom where his mother was doing her business. He was sitting in the car waiting on her and had to use the bathroom. So the boy got out of the car, wedged himself between the door and tried to conceal himself as best he could and relieved himself. Officer happened to be nearby, and I'm going to tell you who this officer was and what he's tied to. Seized the young man and arrest him. They actually put a 10-year-old baby in the back of a police car and took him to jail. And this officer that did it is the same officer that made the traffic stop on James Irby Jr. in 2013, who no one has seen or heard from since that day. Same officer. He was in Walls, Mississippi. He left Walls, and he found a home in Senatobia, Mississippi. Now Senatobia has fired him, according to the news. So where is he going to pop up next? But listen at what they wrote in the news. The mother of a child punished by a court for urinating in public refuses to sign the probation terms. They want to put this baby on probation. He's 10 years old. Now listen at what they say they want to do, according to the Associated Press out of Jackson, Mississippi. The article says, quote, the mother of a 10-year-old child who was sentenced by a Mississippi judge to 3 months of probation and a book report for urinating in public has refused to sign his probation agreement and has asked for the charge against her son to be dismissed. The family's attorney announced that Tuesday. The child's mother had initially planned on signing the agreement to avoid the risk of prosecutors upgrading her son's charge. You mean you're going to upgrade the charge on a 10-year-old? As they threatened. According to the article, they threatened to do it. But she changed her mind after reading the full agreement. Her attorney is Carlos Moore. And he said, quote, we cannot in good conscience accept a probation agreement that treats a 10-year-old child like a criminal. The terms proposed are not in the best interest of our client, and we will take all necessary steps to challenge them. The terms for the 10-year-old's probation were similar to those prosecutors would demand of an adult, including sections that prohibited the use of weapons. So I guess the 10-year-old boy gonna get a gun, and demand he submit to drug test at a probation officer's discretion, according to the attorney. The terms of the agreement stemmed from a sentence ordered on December 12th, and this was December 12th of 2023, by Tate County Youth Court Judge Rusty Harlow. The judge said the child, who is black, must serve 3 months of probation and write a 2-page book report on the late NBA star Kobe Bryant. This is the kind of madness that's going on. And I'm sorry, dear brothers and sisters, while we popping our fingers and living our best life, this is what's happening right in our face. This is what's going on. So this is why I say Mississippi is still burning. Now, Senatobia Police Chief Richard Chandler, the same one who was part of slamming 2 little 5-foot-tall girls to the ground because he told them to get their black ass out the street, according to the children. And these big burly men put their knees in the back of a 13 and 14-year-old little girl. Got ankle monitor on one of them. And the judge stipulates she can't even come outside. If they see her sitting on the porch, they're going to arrest her. But the police chief said the child was not handcuffed, but his mother said he was put in a jail cell. Now, why would the mother lie? You mean to tell me these people are so wicked and hateful that they would put a 10-year-old black child in a jail cell because he urinated in public, because there was no bathroom nearby? Mississippi's still burning, family. And you know fire spreads. And with the verdict that they came out with today, it's a lot of angry, fiery serpents in America right about now. The verdict of the former President Trump's trial, yeah, they found the man guilty. That's as far as I'm going to go on that. You go and listen to the news for yourself and just listen. But this is speaking to the point that I'm making. Whether Honorable Louis Farrakhan say, you know, can't demand justice or ask justice from a people who don't even have it in their nature to do it, to give it to us. So we're on our own, black people. So I think I got another caller who just got on. Let me see if I can get that person on. Are you there, caller? Well, maybe they hung up. Oh no, they did leave. I see now that they actually got off. Let me see if I can. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, this is what we as black folk are dealing with in 2024. And I know some of what I just read, some of you probably can't even believe it. You can't even wrap your head around. I know I can't wrap my head around a local judge being that hateful, that callous, that he would recommend a 10-year-old boy to be subjected to what he proposed in terms of probation. You're going to put a 10-year-old baby on probation. Now, you can rest assured they don't do their children like that. And I know why they do it. The history, if you study history, see, they had something that they would do just to maintain the social order, the good old antebellum South social order. The old South white people would just, on general principle, hang a black man every now and then just to keep black folk in line. Because they are already set up, because in the counties that they know where this is happening at, in the cities and municipalities that they know this is happening at, the people that do it, which are now largely police, because they told us, the police in the future won't be wearing a hood and a white sheet. They'll be wearing black robes with a gavel in their hand. They'll be wearing police uniforms. This is a reality, black people. We can stick our head in the sand if we want to. That's if what you want to do. But it ain't got nothing to do with that. That's fine. But a good study of history, there was a time, during the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust, the well-to-do Jewish people wasn't concerned with the little ones that were going to Auschwitz. But of course, until the brown shirts and the Gestapo came and got the more affluent ones. But this is the madness that is happening, and this is what we are allowing ourselves to be subjected to, simply because of what my sister said, the apathy. We don't even believe that we can overcome it. The desensitization to our plight. And some of us are so busy pleasuring ourselves, trying to live our best life, which that nothing is wrong with that. I want to live my best life. But should we forget about our brother and sister that's being set upon the way we hear and read about, as though, there is no connection between them and us, when the people that are doing it simply because they are the same color as we are? And, you know, they'll ask that question, well, how are you making it about race? It always has been about race. It is about race, and it will continue to be about race because the issue of race in America has never been effectively addressed. So now you still see a goon squad down in Rankin County, Mississippi. I just mentioned to you what happened to Miss Miller's daughters, a 13 and 14-year-old, and they played the video on the news. And there is no outrage from the black community. You mean to tell me 180-plus pound officers see fit to slam, and they slammed them just for being in the street. They didn't shoot. They was in the community based on a shooting call. And I'm going to get to that part where we help fan the flames sometimes as a black community with our fear and our apathy and some of our young people in our behavior. But they're there investigating a shooting, but their attention turns to two girls walking across the street trying to get home. And now you see fit to slam these babies on the ground and put your knee in their back. It took all of that. In their mind, yeah, they don't care. And not only that, brothers and sisters, now they're dealing with a sister. Her name is Shantara Jackson. She's filing a lawsuit to the tune of $10 million. Tate County again, they said she was sexually assaulted on a traffic stop. The outcome of that is remained to be seen. But this is the plight of black people, at least in Mississippi, today. And based on what we've seen happen in other areas, I got a lot of files of people that have sent me information. I can't really even get to it all, where their family members have been just outright murdered. Just outright murdered. Sister Urban, I think her name is Yolanda. Family member, police come to the tow truck driver, the repo man comes to repo her loved one's vehicle. He had the wrong house. The man's payments are up. So he calls the police. And it's on video. Tow truck pulls up. Officers done pulled up and then hid on the side of the house. Brother comes out shining a flashlight. And before the brother can say anything, the officer is firing, emptying the clip. Emptied the clip in this man. This is what's happening, brothers and sisters. So we're going to continue this, and those of you that are calling in, I'll try to get you in. Please feel free, and thank you all for taking time out of your schedule to be on. There's quite a few of you on tonight, and we appreciate it. But we are at that time. We're at the top of the hour. We always at the top of the hour. We take a break. And we want to get to those who support us. We want to make sure you know who to support, because one of the things that we're going to have to do, brothers and sisters, as Dr. Martin Luther King said to us, and as Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been trying to get us to understand, we need to figure out a way to hurt them. Not out of malice, no. Out of protecting and defending ourselves. So we need to redirect our dollars. We need to get to the point to where we become socially aware of what's happening to us and the potential of it happening directly to us, and put these people on their heels and make them to understand, well, if our lives are not important, if you don't think that, we should be afforded the same rights and privileges and respect for our lives that you have for your own, then okay. We'll separate from you. No, we're not going to some other country or across. No, we're going to stay right here in America. We're going to just withdraw from you. And this is the conversation that was going on in Mississippi and throughout the country by our sister Ava Muhammad. May Allah be pleased with her on her separation town tour. She came to Coldwater, and this is a conversation that we need to start having again, because I don't think it's been broached since she's been gone. May Allah be pleased with our sister. But this is the kind of stuff that I want to highlight tonight to bring it to our attention, because this is very painful, brothers and sisters. You know, when I read it, you know, it's hurtful to see and to know. When you're sensitized to your own suffering, when you become a lover of yourself and have a healthy respect for yourself and your own people, you can't read these kinds of stories and not feel anything. If you as a black person can listen to this and go and read about this and you don't feel nothing, then brother and sister, you need to take a look in the mirror in the pupils of your eyes and ask yourself some serious questions about your humanity. So, that being said, I'm going to take a quick break, and we will be right back after these commercial messages.
Young brother in the hood lost his life today, shot by another brother for something small, they say, just a ghetto child, and soon we won't remember him. Superstar brother got fortune and fame, beat in the murder, his life is the same. Ghetto child, just like the other, but they will remember his name, yeah. Every day, they just fade away.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Shake's famous seasonings, flavors for every occasion. Want to add a touch of authentic flavor to any dish? Searching for a unique range of seasonings that always put great taste on the menu? Welcome to Shake's famous seasonings. Whether you're a professional chef, passionate home cook, or a complete beginner in the kitchen, taste and flavor should always be on the menu. It's why Master Chef Rashid Muhammad has combined more than 30 years in the kitchen with a passion for mouth-watering flavors to create a range of seasonings unlike any other. Always gluten-free, so you can enjoy great taste exactly how nature intended. Versatile flavors that work with fresh fish, chicken, or vegetables from the very first bite. Authentic cooking experience that adds something special to any occasion. Versatile seasonings that are perfect for baking, frying, grilling, and plenty of tasting. Ready for real, authentic flavor? When it's time to see just how delicious seasoned foods can be, why wait? With the click of a button, you can have 30 years of passion for food sent direct to your door. Just what you need to add flavors to every occasion and create meals that you'll always want to eat twice.
Place your order at sfseasonings.com. That's sfseasonings.com. What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes, we're back at the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. Once again, I am your host and brother, Abdul Shaheed Muhammad. We are discussing Mississippi still burning. And we've talked about what has it burning. And I'm going to pivot a little bit. But before I pivot, I thought about an incident because we say we are 10K Fearless Tri-State, which means we cover Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. And I'm reminded of an event back in 2007 when a young 12-year-old baby was shot and killed by police under very questionable circumstances. The son of Deborah Farrow, young brother named Deontay. And I remember being intimately involved because at that time I was sent to West Memphis, Arkansas by the student minister of Muhammad Mosque number 55, student minister Abdul Muthakir Muhammad, and got to know many of the residents, some of the city leaders, and it was very interesting. Got to know members of the NAACP. Shout out to the former president, Brother Shabaka Afrika, who headed up the NAACP at that time, some of the council persons like Willis Monday and James Pulliam and others. Got to know the brother who is the current mayor. He was one of the aldermen at the time. His name is Marco McClendon. He is the current mayor. But back in 2007, Deontay was shot under very questionable circumstances, very tragic. But the thing that stood out most in my mind when I just reflected on that was the indifference that the police chief at that time had over the issue. And his name was Bob Powder. And the reason I say that because on the news when they interviewed him and it was said that nothing would be done, no one would be held accountable, he let the following words come out of his mouth into the ears of the public, and I'm sure the Farrow family heard it as well because it was on a newscast. This man said, quote, "Get over it." And that speaks to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan just said to us. We're asking for justice from the kind of people that don't have it in their heart or in their nature to do such. And I'm reminded a few months later, a tragedy happened in West Memphis where the son of former Chief Powder and another officer, Officer Evans, ended up getting killed in the midst of a traffic stop. Very tragic situation. Wouldn't wish it on anyone. Because that's why we start that program with the axiom. When you see men fall, don't laugh, learn. Learn. So this is the kind of thing that happens. This is the kind of chain of events that can come to pass when there's an absence of justice. But at any rate, I want to pivot to the second part of the program. And before I go there, brothers and sisters, in Holly Springs and Marshall County, please subscribe to the Final Call News. We want about 1,000 of you to be regular subscribers where you purchase a subscription and we bring it to you weekly right to your doorstep right there in Holly Springs, Mississippi and Marshall County. This is another platform, and this is part of the answer. You first have to be informed of what's going on and what's happening. And the Final Call newspaper has carried some of these stories, particularly the Rasheem Carter story was front page news in the Final Call. It didn't make mainstream first or top of the hour or breaking news. That essentially was a modern day lynching. They found the man's head severed. Okay? But they will make cases like Natalie Holloway very, very prominent. And other cases of their people. And I really don't, I understand now. I've matured to the point to understand, well, you can't be angry at them. That's their news. We got to tell our own stories. And that's why podcasts like this, I'm hoping that you all will support this podcast. I will be asking you in the coming days to begin to help support us monetarily because we want to expand. We're going to be expanding to a network of podcasts to not only inform us about these things, but things on health, things about women, things about prenatal care, and things about, being industrious and how to organize. We want to bring to this platform and make this into a network that will be an information source for those who seek it, okay? So, in addition to the Final Call newspaper, and if you want to subscribe to it locally in Holly Springs and Marshall County, give us a call at 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Or you can give us an email at dremuhammad1@gmail.com. That's DREMUHAMMAD, the number 1 at gmail.com. That's also if you want to be a part of the 10K Fearless Tri-State, you can drop us a line at Post Office Box 517. That's 517 Holly Springs, Mississippi 38635. Support us now. We have that Supreme Bean Pie available right there at 165 North Memphis Street for a donation. Help us to establish and to fund our ministry there in Holly Springs, Mississippi. So come by and get you one of those Supreme Bean Pies all the way from our bakery in Chicago. We also have those 2-pound bags of whiting fish. You eat fish every Friday. Black people, that's what we do. Support us and give us a donation for 2-pound bag of our whiting fish fillets right there at 165 North Memphis Street. It's now known as Ida B. Wells Street, but it's formerly known as Memphis Street. So, as we get ready to get into the latter part of tonight's broadcast, one of the things that we have to take responsibility for, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan mentioned in his words, we can't go and talk about police killing us in the face of us killing us. And when we do that, dear family, we are helping to feed or fan the flames that's burning in Mississippi. Because when we engage in the gun violence that we do amongst ourselves, that invites police in. And you already know, Mississippi, when they come in, there's always some among them. I'm not saying all of them now. There are some officers that are great policemen that do their best to protect and to serve the community. That's a reality. And I don't want you all to think that I'm just anti-police. How can I be that? That's what I do for a living. And I do my debt level best to be fair and impartial to human beings and not, degrade or anyone or mishandle anyone and turn a blind eye to people's humanity. Recognize their humanity regardless of what they've done. But brother and sister, when we engage in that kind of behavior whereby we begin this fratricidal conflict that oftentimes starts in cyberspace online, and before you know it, you're in the public shooting at one another. You got these, and you're not just using little guns like back in the day or a little pocket knife. No, you got almost military grade weapons. You got what you like to call choppers. Well, that's an old word, really. But you got SKSs and AR-15s now, like you're going to war in a military theater of war, like you're going to Iraq, shooting at one another. You got these switches on these guns, shooting at one another. And when the gunfire gets that way, now here comes the police. That's what happened in Senatobia, brothers and sisters. They were there on a shooting investigation. That's what's happened down in Gulfport. Our young brother Jaheim, just 15 years old, shot down. He had a gun in his hand, according to the video footage that I looked at. So that becomes an easy predicate to shoot you. That's according to video clips that I've watched. They still shots. It appears to be a weapon in our young brother's hand. But he's running away from the police. He's trying to get away. But you can rest assured nobody's going to be held accountable for that. But what I'm getting at, dear family, not only is it the behavior of our young people, it's not just them. It's the inaction of black leadership as well. It is the fear and cowardice of our institutions and the leaders of our institution. Yeah, that's what I said, fear and cowardice, because I've seen it firsthand. I've talked to men. I'm not going to mention names. I'm your brother. I love you, man. But this fear and this cowardice and this inaction and using religion as a barrier between different organizations, using our different approaches in terms of how we think we should approach and solve the problem, that becomes an excuse to stay disunited. And it makes me wonder sometimes who really are the people that advocate that, especially in light of the fact that we say we know that part of the counterintelligence program of J. Edgar Hoover was to never allow us to unite. So those that speak against unity in the black community, and then you want to use the difference in philosophies and beliefs as a justification to stay divided, well, let's look behind that shield that you're using and see what the real reason is. Because in my mind, in truth, that's worse than the young brother that's going through the hood shooting. Yeah, you thought I was going to let y'all off the hook? No, sir, no, ma'am. See, we want to condemn the young people that's engaged in the gun violence and that's gang banging. Meanwhile, some of us are banging with belief, banging with religion, religious gang banging, to where you want to sentence another people of faith to hell because they see God and Jesus a little differently than you do. When the man that we claim, Jesus himself, told you that he had other sheep that are not of your fold, that should prompt you to think that, well, there's some people that believe in Jesus that are not of the same faith or, congregation or fold that I am, but they still believe in it. They still try to live according to his example. And the closest example that I see to a Jesus today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The man is hated without a cause. They stone him, but why do they stone him? What evil has he done? He's done nothing but good for black people. They call him everything but a liar. Y'all know I'm not lying. They call him hater. They call him anti-Semitic. They call him anti-American. They call him anti-white. They call him anti-gay. They call him misogynistic. They call him this, that, the other, and the third. But the one thing he hadn't been called by any of our detractors is a liar. Don't you know they did the same thing to the Jesus of the Bible? In fact, they said he did Jesus in the Bible. They said he did his miracle or his works by the power of Beelzebub, meaning the devil aided him. And some has even hinted at that. Some of our own people, how does he look so good? Did he make a deal with the devil? Why couldn't he have made a deal with God? So, dear brothers and sisters, I know. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me look and see. I see your comments. And let me thank you, Sister Houston, Sister Johnny Houston, for being on right down there in Holly Springs. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, dear sister. I see you, Sister Marissa. Shout outs. I forgot all about my shout outs. Thank you, Sister Audrey, for being there. Brother Najee and the Holly Springs Study Group family. Thank you all. Brother L. Muhammad. I think that might be Brother Laren and Sister Bree and Brother William, of course. Always faithful supporters of this podcast. We certainly appreciate you all for coming on. But brothers and sisters, we have to begin to spread the word. And we have to begin to work together and to organize and to shed light on these things and become effectively organized that we may effectively address what's happening to us. And protesting against them with voice, that's what we want to do, cool. But you better understand that you're protesting and marching on people and institutions that don't respond to that. So another tactic will have to be employed. And it's been used in Mississippi very, very effectively. So as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, above all of our studies, history is best qualified and most attractive to reward our research. So the historical research says that they're not moved until we hit them in the pocket. So all we have to do is start redirecting our dollars. It's going to take some time. Start organizing. Start patronizing your own black businesses. See, that's why I run those commercials. Make sure you support the Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. All of you take a bath, buy 1 bar of soap from them a month. Just one. Wouldn't cost you number $6. Buy 1 bar of soap. Buy 1 bottle of body oil. Buy 1 bottle of or 1 jar of body butter. A jar of cocoa shea souffle. Just once a month. Because Mr. Walmart don't support you. In your community, we take our money to everybody but ourselves. So, brothers and sisters, the time is upon us. We got about 7 minutes left in tonight's podcast, and we're going to have a cultural segment tonight. But I'm imploring us, brothers and sisters, we have to get to our young men and women in the community and help them to understand that we cannot continue to fan the flames that are burning in Mississippi by way of our behavior and our self-hatred. And it's not really the young people's fault. We say they're lost. Well, who lost them? Whose children are they? So in the coming days, myself along with some others, the Holly Springs Study Group along with some others, we will be organizing, beginning in Holly Springs, Mississippi, to begin what I will be calling and we will be calling real talk conversations, whereby we convene with our young men and see if we can resolve the conflicts that are going on. We're going to be asking those who are, how can I say, have the ability to garner the ears and attention of the parents in these communities that have young boys that are at odds with one another. They've brung guns into your house, mother, and you know your son, but you don't want him to have a gun in your house. Some of them in Holly Springs have come to myself. I'm not going to name no names, and they want a resolution to this. Okay, well, we're ready. We have the facility. We have places where we can sit down and have an impartial mediator between our young men. It was a tragedy that our young brother got shot down in Holly Springs by a young man he grew up with. So now one is in the cemetery and the other young brother is on his way to Parchment somewhere to spend, the better part of his life on lockdown. So where does it stop? Where does it stop, dear brothers and sisters? So as we begin to get ready to end tonight's program. I know this is kind of somber and kind of sobering. And let me pay attention because, man, I got a lot of comments. And one is sticking out to me. It's a kudos, and I want to thank Brother Muhammad L. I'm thinking that's Brother Laren. Muhammad, he says, Assalamu alaikum, beautiful platform. Our communities need to be in the know. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, dear brother. And we want to get others on. Next week, I have a guest that's going to be coming on. His name is Brother Kirk Muhammad. He's doing great prison reform work. And you'll be hearing what he's got going on. He's going to be explaining to us some legislation that's coming out that we need to be aware of. We need to be aware of. And to our young brothers that are out in the street with your weapons, as I have done my dead level best in the community of Memphis, to let our young brothers know, brother, don't you ever think that you have a gun that you can go to a gun store and a pawn shop and buy, that can trouble local law enforcement to the point that they can't go and get something that's far superior or be given access to something that's far superior to what you can go to a store and buy and deal with you when you get too far out of control. And as a matter of fact, well, I'm not going to say that much. Some of what you think you're being allowed to do is by design, young brother. You better recognize. So now people are calling for the National Guard. What kind of weapons you think they're going to come with? They're not going to come with that small-time stuff that you told them that you think can make a lot of noise. Police chiefs around the country are starting to ask for access to higher caliber weapons for their officers. It's by design, brothers. You've been set up. We've been set up, black community. And the same atmosphere that existed leading up to the Million Man March that was created by Hollywood when they put these movies out like Colors and Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood that depicted black men as monsters and pariahs in the community. That same caricature of black men has been recreated through drill rap and tear the club up kind of music. Back in the day, it was the Uzi that was the weapon of choice. Now it's the Glock with the switch. And you got high-powered weapons, and you, like I said last week, family, you're sipping on lean, you know? And you're popping pills, and you're armed. So now the caricature of what Miss Clinton called super predator. Nah. They are the super predators that are making our young men look like super predators. And because that's what we look like, because they superimpose the behavior of our young men on national TV, local news. So now the very people that are our brothers and sisters, they're using the pain of our mothers and the fear of our people in the community, some of which are in leadership, to call for the destruction of our young men and women by calling for the National Guard. So at this time, brothers and sisters, we're going to close out tonight's program with a cultural segment, and I really, really like this one. And this is from our dear brother on the West Coast, Brother West Coast Cam. And it's called It Is On Us Now, because it is certainly on us to make our communities a safe and decent place to live. Please enjoy.
America can change, but attitudes change slowly. There's something that we, as black people, must do to affect that kind of change. But if our people are jobless and in gangs and are the #1 killers of themselves, then how can anyone looking at that picture see us as their equal? So there's an awful lot of work for black leaders, black preachers, black teachers, black organizations to do to lift our people up out of the quagmire that they are in. And that is not on Barack Obama. He has the cross of America to bear,
but the raising of our people is still our job to do.
Man, you can tell by the news, we gon' always lose. It's white people's fault. Nah, better yet, Jews. I was a confused and abused child. Mama made my views foul. Damn, Obama, what excuses I'ma use now? My pops wasn't there. Nah, I can't use that. Now they can trace my dirt all the way back to where I choose at. Who's that? Peeking in my window, bro. Damn, the whole wide world, I can't pretend no more that I'm just a lost sheep who don't give a full letter. Now the cost deep, I gotta reap what I sow because I know better. Can't never put that genie back in the bottle, cause now we got a real life black family role model sitting in that house that slavery built. Shit might've gave y'all hope, but it gave me guilt. And I bet you every black neighborhood thug feel the same thing. They pulling the plug on the blame game. It's on us now.
We must accept responsibility to build our community. We don't have a community right now. And so we must build a community and get away from calling where we live the hood or the ghetto and save our youth from self-destruction.
If that pig don't get you, best believe that bald eagle will. I'm telling you, my nigga, better learn y'all illegal skill, cause they finna kill every other way of eating. This Satan world, homie, ain't no beating them at cheating. You can't out devil the devil and think it ain't sin. That's a flame at the end of a game that you can't win. Trying to fight evil with evil on any item. Now if you know they wrong, then you gotta outright them. That's the only way you gon' make it today, cause everything else, Satan can take it away. Don't even worry about revenge or making them pay. They gon' get dead. Just make sure you stay awake and obey your highest authority. Shit, I don't even ask about a liar. I'm too busy trying to keep my ass out the fire. Niggas better clean their act up and get sober, cause now he holding us responsible. Grace is over, it's on us now.
Wonderful event, Minister Farrakhan. What is it going to mean to African Americans?
When we look at Barack and Michelle and Sasha and Malia, to see a loving husband, a loving wife, a loving father, a loving mother, and two beautiful children, what a beautiful example they set, not only for us, but for America.
You ain't got to be no criminal, empty in a clip. You ain't gotta be no video hoe. You ain't gotta strip. You ain't gotta be no athlete to keep it real. You ain't gotta entertain. You ain't gotta have no sneaker deal. You ain't gotta dumb it down. You ain't gotta go soft. You ain't gotta sleep around and take your clothes off. You ain't gotta call her bitch. You ain't gotta like the world. You ain't gotta get rich and go get you a white girl. Times is changing right in front of our eyes. Possibilities and heights that our people can rise till we can see ourselves ruling the world again. Resurrecting the heaven from a world of sin. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. From every child in school to every G in the pen. Don't get me wrong, I know this enemy's still here, but let me make this real clear. That responsibility is on us now.
Yes, yes, yes. That was our brother West Coast Cam with It's On Us Now, and it is certainly indeed on us. Dear brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. And as always, we are asking 1,000 people in Holly Springs and Marshall County, please subscribe to The Final Call. Give us a call at area code 662-252-8999. Join our email list if you want to be a part of the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast or the 10K Fearless. Give us an email to dremuhammad1@gmail.com, or you can drop us a line at Post Office Box 517, Holly Springs, Mississippi 38635. Please support us and give us a donation because we have that Supreme Bean Pie available. Come by and get you one at 165 North Memphis Street there in Holly Springs. We also have those 2-pound bags of whiting fish, fish fillets that you can prepare for yourself and have a good meal on Fridays, the day of the week that we like to eat them. And you can get all of that at 165 North Memphis Street right there in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Well, brothers and sisters, that's going to do it for us tonight. And we're going to leave you as we came before you with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum, or peace be unto you.
10,000 fearless on the move.
Let's go. Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. In Mississippi. 10,000 fearless on the